Michigan Out of Doors Online is brought to you in part by Tri-County Logging. Experienced in sustainable forestry practices, Tri-County Logging can help you manage your property by keeping your woods healthy and generate income. Serving southern and mid-Michigan for nearly 50 years, TriCountyLogging.com.
Hi everyone, welcome to Michigan Out of Doors. I'm Jenny Olson-Silik and we've got a great show in store for you this week. I'm going to take you out and show you what you can be doing to hone your shooting skills this time of year while helping out your local farmers. And Jimmy and Jordan have been working on some other exciting outdoor adventures for us this week too.
Well, that's right, Jenny. We do have a few more things on this week's show. We're going to actually start this week's episode in the northwest part of the Lower Peninsula doing a little casting for Lake Trout. You won't want to miss that. Some beautiful footage there. And we're going to spend some time on a small trout stream looking for giant browns. So lots of good stuff on this week's show. You stay tuned. I'm Jimmy Gretzinger. It's time for Michigan Out of Doors.
From the first spring rains to the soft summer breeze, dancing on the pine forest floor, the autumn colors catch your eyes. Here come the crystal winter skies. It's Michigan, Michigan out of doors.
What a beautiful day in the woods.
Someday our children all will see this is their finest legacy, the wonder and the love of Michigan. As the wind comes whispering through the trees, the sweet smell of nature's in the air. From the Great Lakes to the quiet stream, shining like a sportsman's dream, it's a love of Michigan we all share.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Country Smokehouse, a sportsman's meat processor and Michigan destination since 1988. Offers a variety of homemade smoked meats and Michigan-made products in-store and online. The Country Smokehouse features an outdoor barbecue and bar. Details at countrysmokehouse.com. By Angler Quest Pontoons. Angler Quest is a Michigan-based company building boats designed for comfort and fishing functionality. For more information, anglerquestpontoons.com. By Polar Craft Boats, offering riveted and welded boats for the outdoor enthusiast. Whether you're targeting fish or waterfowl, Polar Craft Boats have several models to choose from that keep you high and dry. For more information, polarcraft.com.
We're out here in Lake Michigan. We're in some 57-foot water. We're gonna fish some blade baits. It's gonna be pretty fun. Light tackle, my favorite way to get them. We're early June 4th, 5th, I think it is. Bite has been amazing. They're right up on surface. We've seen a couple fish busting surface, and we're gonna fish them shallow and hook up some really nice lake trout on light tackle. So it should be good. No jigging, just twitching and fishing blades. One of my favorite ways to get them. So it should be a good time. Stay tuned.
The plan was to start out on Lake Michigan and head back into the bay if need be. As we cruised around looking for fish, I had Bob walk me through exactly what kind of tackle you need for this style of fishing.
Kind of like our jigging program out here. 7-foot rods, fast action, medium heavies, anything from a half ounce to 1 ounce, 15-pound braid, 12 to 15-pound floral, barrel swivel in the middle for your connections. Want to use fluorocarbon, obviously, nothing crazy, 2 to 3 foot section, nice snap swivel, and a 3/4 ounce blade bait. I like colors in pink, white, green, anything bright. And you're just gonna what you're trying to do is you're slow rolling it. You're keeping it much like you do down in Erie for walleye fishing. You're just rolling it across the bottom, foot off the bottom or so, and just kind of long cast, retrieving it back to the boat. And a lot of times you just pick up and they're on there. Light little soft taps. That's why I like the extra fast action, fast action rod, feel them taps in between, and just kind of, also helps cast a mile. So yeah, it's fun. It's a good time. Get a bite.
After spending some time on the big lake, we decided to head back into the bay and check a few spots where Bob has done well in the past. And although it did take us a little while to find the fish, once we did, the action was pretty much non-stop.
There he is. He's on there. He's off! Oh, jeez. Yeah, it's twisted up. He wants it so bad. He's on there again. There he is. There we go. Oh, he's on there now. Oh, geez. That's so funny. What an awesome fishery. Yeah, we've kind of had to work a little bit to locate them tonight, but it seems like we're on a pretty good little spot here. We're about 55 foot of water or so, and just long casts with blade baits, 3/4 ounce blade baits, and just let it hit bottom. A lot of times these fish are eating it before it gets bottom, and if your line goes slack, you can pretty much, oh, there's a tap right there as it's falling. You just, if your line, like on that last fish right there, my line just dropped. You know, I knew I wasn't on bottom. Line dropped. Good indicator you got a fish on. Set the hook and get that puppy back to the boat. Have some fun with it. So much fun. Never gets old. The water's cold. We're about 55-degree water right now, and we're in the outer part of Grand Traverse Bay off the old Mission Peninsula, about 4 or 5 miles. And we're in, like I mentioned, 55-degree water. We've got Cisco mixed in with Lake Trout. Tonight we're pretty much looking for Lake Trout. Any size. You could get a 20-pounder right now. You get a lot of 2-pounders. It's just a great mix. Gosh, I just can't say enough about it. I mean, the fishery is just awesome. The DNR allowed us to go back to 2 fish per person this year. We obeyed the rules last year and complied with the consent decree, and should be a great year. Great summer fishing, and you know, the water's cold enough that we can practice responsible catch and release on the fish. So, you know, come out here and catch a bunch of fish, have a great time, bring a kid fishing, make a difference in a kid's life. You know, this is a great time to have a kid on the water. You know, it's been a rough couple months with the pandemic and COVID and everything else going on in the world right now, but if you need to relax, come to Traverse City, come to Northport, Sutton's Bay, Elk Rapids. Just get north and catch a fish. The weather's perfect. Just can't say enough about the season right now. First month of June, I love it. It's great out here. Our 3/4 ounce blade bait. This is a RJ Lures custom blade bait made right here in Houghton, Michigan.
If it's got that rod bent like that, that's a good fish.
That's a good fish. And that's what happens. Sometimes you lose them. Womp womp. It's still fun. No complaints. When you're hooking fish every cast out here on Grand Traverse Bay, no complaints. I wouldn't be surprised if it happened again right now. What a great fishery.
That's a good one, Bob.
Oh, that is a nice one. Yeah. Who knew you had it in you?
See him down there.
Oh, that is a nice fish.
Oh,
It's okay. That's a great fish, Chris.
The spot we were fishing in tonight is located a few miles offshore, but Bob says you really don't need to go that far out, and you can find quality fishing close to shore.
I mean, we're a couple miles, 5-6 miles offshore tonight because it's perfect night. If you have a 12-foot boat and it's glass calm like this, get yourself close to shore in 50 foot of water or so. I mean, the guys on the south end of East Bay right now, all the bass guys down there, they're getting trout amongst their bass, and it's 15 to 20 foot down there, sometimes shallow. I talk to guys, they'll call me and be like, hey Bob, you know, I literally was down there fishing, and I seen, he's got one on back here, nice fish, Chris. I've seen fish swimming all over Cisco and Lake Trout, all over in 12, 15 foot of water. What the heck is that? They're trout. And then they hook them up and they have a great time. So if you have a small boat and you get a calm night, fish just rose on the surface right there. If the conditions are perfect, get your butt out here. Get yourself some 3/4 ounce blade baits and go have some fun. Just cast out there as far as you can and work it off bottom. If you hit bottom, great. You know, I would recommend starting in 50 foot of water, 40 foot of water, something like that, and just bounce it up the shelf. If you want to bounce it off the back of the shelf, that's fine, but bounce it up the shelf. That fish just come out of the water again. So it's just a great time. It really is. You don't need any experience. Oh, there we go. You know, you don't need really any experience to do this. It's just a lot of good old-fashioned fun. Look at that fish right there. not mud. And the cool part is the water is very cold. And yeah, you're gonna fall in. Silly. Still licking. Crazy. They swim right away. They're super strong in this cold water. Very healthy for them. Best time of the year to catch and release lake trout. You can come out here. You got to take special care of them in July and August, but you come out here in June, it's a good time. The water's cold. It's the best time to get them. That's funny.
Good fish.
Good fish?
Good fish.
All right, I'll let you be the star for a minute. Spent a little bit of time this evening searching around. We had a, when you're out here, don't ever be afraid to lift your anchor, spot lock, whatever you're on, and move 5, 10, 15 miles, 2 miles, half a mile, quarter mile, whatever it takes to find fish. That's exactly what we did here this evening. We started with some pretty big moves out into the main lake, and we didn't find any fish. Moved closer, made another 5, 10 mile run, and found a couple bites, but that twilight time right there around 8:30, 9 o'clock, it just turned on, and we were on a good group of fish. And we got some really nice fish at the boat here, and so stick it out right till the sun goes down.
What an incredible night on the water. After months of not being able to travel, watching the sunset over Grand Traverse Bay was pretty special. Thanks to Chris and Bob for letting me tag along on a beautiful night here in northern Michigan.
There are so many great opportunities in the outdoors this time of year as things start warming up here in Michigan. One thing you may not consider is helping out your local farmer by making a dent in the woodchuck population. That's exactly what my husband Matt and I did. We tagged along with a good friend and hit the farm fields. Farmers across the state count on their crops to make a living. Spring, summer, and fall are devoted to prepping, planting, and harvesting corn, beans, alfalfa, and wheat, to name a few. And when it comes to these crops, every square foot counts. We all know that deer can wreak havoc on a field in no time, but a den of woodchucks can be even more devastating to a farm. As bean plants are beginning to sprout this time of year, a single woodchuck can eat several rows of beans out in front of his den. And if they dig their dens out in a field, there's damage done to tractors, and a horse or cow could break a leg in one of those holes too. Franz Neruda has been helping farmers out and hunting woodchucks for over 40 years now and knows what to look for.
I look for bean fields, I look for brush piles, stone rock piles. You can see after they take the hay off, you can see where they've come through. You'll see the sand mounds and stuff like that where they hit it and stuff. The beans and stuff like that, you can see where you'll see the half moons where they're coming out and they're eating the beans. That's another thing that I always look for. Farmers will rotate their crops, and by rotating their crops, what they're doing is they'll have beans for a couple of years, they'll have wheat, and then they'll throw it into corn. Actually, groundhogs really don't like corn. They'll go in a cornfield and stuff like that, but the thing is that they just as soon eat beans, or they'd rather be in a clover hayfield or an alfalfa hayfield. They get all their moisture. They don't actually drink water. They get everything from the grasses and stuff they eat, and from the beans they eat. So matter of fact, the hotter the day, the better it is to go out and go shooting, because they're going to be chewing just a little bit more. But what happens is they'll migrate. It's like if a guy puts in a cornfield and there's woodchucks, they'll migrate and they'll find another food source.
Okay. And they'll dig another den?
Yeah, they'll dig another den, and you can actually, I've seen them go into the middle of a bean field and dig a new den in less than a half an hour.
Wow.
I mean, it's amazing that between them and a badger, they can move a lot of dirt.
All right. And do they live alone? They seem like they live in groups. Right?
The females will live with their pups and stuff like that, but the males live by themselves. If you shoot a male and stuff like that, you already know that there's not going to be another one in that hole.
Okay.
So
how many years have you been doing this?
Oh man. About 40.
Jeez, okay. You're kind of known around Lapeer County and St. Clair County for the farmers call you, right?
Yes, I get a lot of phone calls from farmers. As you know, is that everybody will say, "Hey, you're that woodchuck guy," and I'll say, "Yes, I am. Sure." And it's opened up a lot of opportunities, to hunt just different things, deer and everything else. But actually, it's something to do during the summer, like the early summer. It's, because fishing becomes a lull, and this, and this is something else just to do. Here we go. This one didn't get away. Won't be any crop damage from this one.
That's a big one.
Yeah, it is. It is. That's a big one. Heck of it is, I know that if we sat here, we'd probably get to shoot 3 or 4 more, but we've got other farmers that we said that we would go see today. So we'll take this one, dispose of it, and we're going to head to the next farm.
All right. Cool.
You can get a family of woodchucks, and they can actually eat out, 3 to 4 acres. You've seen, I've showed you different spots where you'll see a huge dome coming out in the field. Well, the heck of it is, you're looking at, a farmer when, he's raising beans, he's right around, he can be anywhere from, from 30 to 42, bushels per acre. And you figure that even at $8 a bushel, you eat out 5 acres, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I had one farmer that he didn't know that he had a colony of woodchucks in his field. He went across, made the first pass through with a brand new combine, and tore the rear end gear right out of it.
We were making a dent in the local population today. Franz says there are a few different calibers of rifles that work well for woodchucks.
I use a .223 and I use a 22 mag. If I'm up around buildings and stuff like that, I'll use a 22 mag. It doesn't have the power of the .223, but like say as we're sitting here, is that you never know, you might have a shot that's out in the field, it might be 15 yards, it might be 500 yards. And I like my a lot of guys like a 22-250, but I reload a lot of .223, and that seems to work best with me.
Okay. And that's what Matt's shooting too.
Yeah, Matt's shooting a .223, and then you're shooting a 17 Hornet.
Yeah.
I saw that do some damage today too, so.
Yeah, that one's nice because it's quick, it's flat shooting, and the 17 Hornet is a center fire rather than a rim fire, like
right.
Normal 17 caliber. So that was a wedding gift from Matt 2 years ago, right before we got married, and it's actually our 2-year anniversary today, and we're out here using it. So
there you go.
It's been a lot of fun, and we appreciate you taking us out. And
I enjoy doing this. I mean, it's just like everything. It's you see me even with fishing or hunting or whatever. The more people you get involved, the better off we are.
Franz does enjoy introducing new people into the outdoors. Whether it's jigging for walleyes or hunting for deer, turkeys, and even woodchucks, Franz is always inviting someone new along for the adventure. Hunting in the summer months like this is a great way to keep your shooting skills honed while helping out your local farmers. They're built for digging dens and had a den here in this field that the farmer filled in.
You can see where they've come in here and they dig out, and the heck of it is that you break farm equipment. Stuff like that running over their holes and stuff like that. So like this one right now, this hole, even though he's filled it in, it's still 1.5 feet deep.
Being basically grass-fed, I asked Franz if many people actually cook up woodchucks for a meal.
I used to have a man that used to eat them. He passed away, so we don't do that anymore. At this point right now, if you're hitting with a .223, there's not really a whole lot, that you want to try to eat.
Some fly fishermen will also make use of woodchuck's hair to tie flies as well. It's crazy that such a relatively small varmint can cause such huge damage to a farmer's equipment and their crops. We visited 4 farms today and shot 11 woodchucks. That barely even makes a dent in the population here. If you have the time and patience to sit for a few hours at one spot, you'll usually find more. If you have some time on your hands this summer, stop in a local farm and ask if you can help out by curbing the woodchuck population. It's a fun way to help our farmers here in Michigan's Out of Doors.
Well, when it comes to fishing here in the great state of Michigan, we are pretty spoiled. We have so many big water options, so many inland ponds and lakes, and of course our rivers and streams. And that's where we're going to spend a little bit of time in this next story, chasing some big brown trout. It's hard to beat a day on the water. Today, good friend of the show, Brandon Nutt, was hitting a small northern Michigan river with some buddies. Late May and early June can be pretty good for these smaller streams, and right off the bat, Dalton Jacobs and Eric Spoolman were on the fish.
Thank you. Wow. Appreciate that. Yep. Nice little 11, 12 incher. First one of the day. Caught on a Thunderstick Junior. There you go, buddy.
Early in the day, these guys like to throw some body baits and see if the fish are receptive, and so far today, they seem to be. This was a very good start of the day.
They're hitting these hard today. It's gonna be our day. All right, so we just let the second little brown go this morning. That one had to be probably 12 or 13 inches. I just wanted to show everybody what I'm using here. So this is a Thunderstick Junior, and I switched over to these, just personal preference, probably 4 or 5 years ago from Rapala. They're cheaper, and for me, I just love how they work in the water. My favorite is usually the fluorescent orange one. Today don't have any, so we've been throwing, I don't know what you'd call this, like a clown, but it's a little purple and pink, and it's got some red hooks. But today so far I've had good success with it.
Dalton kept throwing his Thunderstick, and Eric changed over to a worm. From what these guys said, the later in the morning and really midday, worms seemed to be the bait of choice, but so far, both were working today.
We're gonna double up here. Ready for it? He's coming back for it right now. There we go. Here's a nice one. It's not the same fish. Get out here. Making a few runs on me. This is only an ultralight rod though. It's a ugly stick, 4 foot 10 incher. This rod makes them feel a lot bigger than they are.
The guys were finding really nice fish today, and then they hooked into the biggest one of the day. It is hard to beat a big brown trout for color, and to find them on such a small stream, well, that's pretty hard to beat.
Woo! Nice.
This ended up being about a 19 incher and made for some great photos. And, well, there were more fish yet to come.
I think you got nice. A good brown. That's a good one. Oh yeah. Nice brown. You ready for it? Nice. That's a nice
He's
fat,
a football
healthy,
there.
healthy brown.
Caught him on the night crawler again.
Well, special thanks to Brandon and the guys for letting us tag along today. We have so many great options here in our state when it comes to fishing. The big water is such a resource that so many around the country do not have. Our inland lakes and ponds make for so many destinations you could never fish them all. And our rivers and small streams like we were on here today are just something to see and experience. Don't let this summer go by without getting out and enjoying what our great state has to offer.
Thanks for joining us this week for Michigan Out of Doors. Make sure you join us in upcoming weeks. We have lots of excitement in store for you. We will be hitting the big water for some more fishing, of course. Summertime fishing is always fun here in Michigan. We'll also be doing some spear fishing, a little bit of kayaking, all sorts of fun headed your way. If you'd like to see where we are and where we're headed next, you can always check us out online.
Well, that's right, Jenny. Online is a great way to kind of check us out. You can always do that at our website, MichiganOutofDoorsTV.com. We have full episodes of the show there every week. We're also on most of the social media platforms if you want to check us out there to see what we're up to on a day-to-day basis. Should be a lot of good stuff coming over the next several weeks. We're starting to get out and travel our great state a little bit more, and so many good stories left to be told. And if we don't see you in the woods or on the water, hopefully we'll see you right back here next week on your PBS station.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by.
Do you dream of somewhere bigger than your backyard? You can get there with Greenstone. Whether you want to hunt, fish, hike, or just watch the sunset, we're ready to help you own your place in the great outdoors. To learn more, visit greenstonefcs.com.
By Jay's Sporting Goods, with locations in Clare and Gaylord. Jay's has been serving the Michigan outdoor enthusiast since 1971, with a wide variety of outdoor products. The gear, the knowledge, the tradition of Jay's. On the web at jaysportinggoods.com. Closed captioning provided by Marvo Mineral, makers of Lucky Buck, deer management products including minerals to supplement deer diets year-round to improve health and antler growth.
When I wander far away, a dream stays with me night and day. It's the road that leads to my home state. I am a Michigan man. Changing seasons paint the scene like rainbow trout in a hidden stream. The white-tailed deer in the tall pine trees. I am a Michigan man. I am a Michigan man. Ask where I'm from and I'll show you my hands. Lord above, I love this land. I am a Michigan man. From the Keweenaw down to St. Joe, Kalamazoo, east to Monroe, to St. Marie and back again. I am a Michigan man. I am a Michigan man. Ask where I'm from and I'll show you my hands. Lord above, I love this land.